leg and fires the first pitch across for strike one. Mastriani back in center field for the Bisons today, and in the leadoff slot that's usually occupied by Anthony Gose. Here comes the 0-1. Very deliberate delivery, and the toss. Across the knees with a fastball, and it's 0-2. Anthony yesterday made 2 attempts at a diving grab. One was done brilliantly. Full extension, just off the blades of the grass, making a tremendous catch for Sean Nolan. The 0-2 pitch, swing and a miss at a breaking ball. Mastriani's fan, 1 away. The second grab, nearly identical in terms of the dive, but as Gose was reaching out, the glove is on his right hand. The toe caught in the turf, and that wrenched back the thumb. And he's listed as day-to-day, knowing that he would be sore. Kerry Allenson already took him out of the lineup.
Yeah, we mentioned that yesterday. It'd be the next day that he's going to feel it. And obviously, he's not in the lineup. He's hurting a little bit.
Mastriani struck out. Steve Tolleson takes a strike. Good efficient start for Chen-Ming Wang.
I'll tell you what, if you're a baseball fan, this is great for you. I mean, you get a chance to see 2 guys who not that long ago were all-star pitchers in the big leagues, and now you get a chance to see them dueling here, trying to work their way back to the major leagues. And this has got to be fun for the fans to watch these 2 guys.
Pitch is popped out of play, off to the right, beyond the Bison dugout. A strike on Tolleson, and it stays 0-2. Tolleson 1 for 4 yesterday. Wang to the plate. Pulled on the ground, wide of third, and that'll skip through past the dive of Negron. A base hit for Steve Tolleson. Another knock for the Bison's infielder. Now with hits in 12 out of the last 17.
Chen-Ming Wang, he had thrown 5 strikes in a row. 0-2, he put Darren Mastriani away with a breaking ball. That time 0-2, that pitch was off speed, but it was up, and it was right over the heart of the plate. And Tolleson able to pull it through the 5-6 hole there into left field for a base hit.
So the Bisons now with a runner on. Still scoreless here in the first. Kevin Pillar comes to the plate. Right-hand batter. And the toss. Starts to square, pulls back, takes low and away. Ball 1.
They have the third baseman, Chris Nelson, playing very deep. And now he's going to pull him in a little bit over that third base.
Pillar going with the high socks on Sunday. That's his trademark. Brings a 9-game hit streak to the plate. Average on the road trip went up over 100 points. 12 for his last 37. Wang, there goes the runner. The pitch thrown low and away. Corky Miller from his knees throws late down to second. Tolleson's got his 6th stolen base of the year. Bisons with a runner in scoring position.
Good jump by Steve Tolleson. No chance for Corky Miller. He didn't even get up out of the crouch. He tried to throw him out from down on his knees, and he had no chance at all right there. 6 out of 7 now for Steve Tolleson.
Bisons with their 20th stolen base.
They got some guys that know how to run the bases. That Getz, too, he's an outstanding percentage stolen base guy.
Chris gets the day off today. Wang to the plate with a breaking ball, missing low. Pillar in front, 3 balls and no strikes. Of course, you've got Anthony Gose with outstanding speed. Made mention why he's not in the lineup today for the Bisons. Runner at second, 1 out. Pillar waiting on the 3-0. Fastball hit the inside corner. Now 3-1. Duke, you mentioned the pitching matchup today. Fun for the fans. A 19-game winner with the New York Yankees. The opposition today for Buffalo. That same season that he won 19 contests with New York, the 3-1. Hit the outside corner with a strike. That'll keep Pillar at the plate. Chen-Ming Wang also finished second in Cy Young Award voting.
Outstanding.
The 2006 campaign. The award went to Johan Santana. He too won 19 ball games. Maybe the ERA was the difference in deciding who won and who just came up short. The 3-2 pitch. Pillar swings and misses at a breaking ball. He's down on strikes. Wang gets his second.
Good comeback there by Wang as he was down in the count, 3 balls and no strikes. And after throwing a couple of fastballs, Pillar thought he was going to see another one. And he took something off that time and had him way out in front. Good pitch right there by Chen-Ming Wang. Dan Johnson now with 2 outs and the guy in scoring position. And we don't see that big overshift like we saw employed by Scranton Wilkes-Barre and Pawtucket.
Did it against Johnson on the road as well. The extreme shifts, more traditional here with a runner at second. Wang looks back, now to the plate. Strike one. 89-mile-an-hour fastball from Chen-Ming Wang.
With some late tail and sink to it.
Well, that's vintage Chen-Ming Wang.
Exactly.
That's the good news with a big right-hander. 6 feet 4 inches, 235. Throws a strike across the knees, and it's 0-2.
Anyway, with the sinker down and away, and then he comes back with a breaking ball in under the hands.
Wang with the glove against his chest, letting the right arm dangle. Brings both together, upright. Peeks at second, out of the dish. Lashed off to the left, out of play foul.
That was pretty nifty there by Dan Johnson. That pitch was borderline right on the outside corner of the knees, and you can't take that pitch. So right at the end there, he just reached out and flipped it foul, staying alive, get himself perhaps a better pitch to handle.
Runner leads away at second. We're scoreless in the first. Tolson's got his lead. Now the pitch to Dan Johnson. Bounce foul, first base side.
Really no need for it, but I think Tolson, if he wanted to, could steal third base here without even a throw, because the third baseman, Chris Nelson, is way off the line and very deep at third base. It'd be a foot race to get to the bag first. And then Corky Miller would have to throw to a moving target down there. But with 2 outs, really no need to do that, because usually Tolson will be able to score on a base hit in the outfield anyway.
Shortstop Negron playing right between the bag and the lead of Tolson. Johnson waits on the left side. Wang peeks back, now to the dish. Popped up, foul territory on the third base side. That'll bend towards the seats. Off to the fans. Still 0-2 on Dan Johnson. Downtown Buffalo. Getting some sunlight here this afternoon. Been on the extended forecast for a couple of days. Everybody, at least from the clubhouse perspective, was thinking about feeling a little bit of warmth from the sun finally. The 0-2. Breaking ball low and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes. But the Bisons played in Scranton for the kids' game at 10:35, middle part of the week last week. That was the coldest day of the road trip. So even though the sun was out, it wasn't any fun.
It wasn't warm yet. It was too early in the day.
Oh, it was so cold. The 1-2. Tipped it off into the glove held by Corky Miller for strike 3. Johnson thought that ball bounced in. Home plate umpire, though, Ian Fazio, said nope, he caught it clean. It's a strikeout. Wang will fan 3 here in the first. Bison's no run. A base
27, Ryan Schiff.
That around the horn double play. Now makes his first AAA plate appearance. Yeah, that ball was hit hard, too, by Gote. It was scorched, and Schimpf fielded it and almost lost the handle as the ball popped out of his glove, but he managed to stay with it, and he threw a pea to the second baseman and almost handcuffed Tolleson. And he turned it to first, and Gote was still out by a couple of steps because the ball was hit so hard, and really Schimpf he showed a good arm throwing that ball to second base.
Ryan Schimpf, a left-handed batter, takes ball 1 from Chen-Ming Wang. And between pitches, now rifled out to right field. Perez, frozen his track, come forward, turns the glove over, and handles the hard line drive. Wow, that ball was blistered. Schimpf hit it too hard.
Yeah, he did. He's showing some good power. He had, 23 home runs last year in Double-A? Yeah.
23 home runs last season at Double-A. This season with 4 long balls and a .322 clip to go with it.
And he's not a real big guy, too. I mean, he's listed at 5'9", 181 pounds, but he generates some bat speed.
1 out for Matt Tuiasosopo. Went 1 for 2 with a couple of walks yesterday. Takes from Wang, strike 1. Chen-Ming Wang, now 34 years of age. Arrived in Buffalo last July. The 0-1, low and away. Won 4 ball games with the Bisons, including earning his first victory with the Herd. A complete game in a doubleheader in his Bison debut. Here comes the 1-1. Spins it high. 2 balls and a strike on Tuiasa Sopo. Outfield lined up straight away with Wilson, Bourgeois, and Perez. Diamond is back. The 2-1. Bounce on the right side. Skipping past the mound. Go Ty stops it at second. Throws to first in time. Tuiasa Sopo's retired.
Got that ball in on Tui a little bit that time. Just didn't quite get the barrel of the bat through the zone quick enough. Kind of jammed him a little bit. Inside-out swing there. And ball to second baseman Go Ty, who made a sure-handed play on it.
Ricardo Nanita makes his 4th start of the year in right field today. Left-hand batter looking out at Chien-Ming Wang. From the windup. Jumps on the first pitch and pops it up out to the left. Strike 1. 2 out, nobody on for Buffalo here in this scoreless start. Wang in the 0-1. Swung on and missed. Maybe Nanita got a piece of it. Landed at the feet of Corky Miller, the catcher.
Breaking ball down and in that time, probably out of the strike zone. But it's tough, though, if you're Nanita. You only got 12 at-bats on the season, and it's, you finally get an opportunity to play. And he's up there hacking and slashing.
Nanita 1 for 12 now officially on the year. That could have changed. He had a comebacker in Pawtucket that was originally ruled a hit. That was changed to an error. The 0-2. Lined out to left field. Right at Wilson. Now steps over to his right. Reaches out in front of his cap. Makes the catch. And that'll retire Buffalo. And 5 in a row against Chien-Ming Wang have now been retired. We'll go to the 3rd. Still no score for Buffalo and Louisville on the Bison's Baseball Network.
I'll play it first. Here we go.
Scoreless ball game here, bottom half of the 3rd inning at Coca-Cola Field, downtown Buffalo, New York. Duke McGuire along with Ben Wagner. It'll be Mike Nickius to try and get things started for the Herd. Nick off to a slow start, just 4 for 34 thus far, a 118 clip, no home runs, a couple of RBIs, and if my memory serves me correctly, they both came on opening day as Chien-Ming Wang, the veteran right-hander, is into the line. Here's his pitch, down low, ball 1. Goes into that one and he just pauses with his hands up over the top of his head, and then he regroups, and then he delivers, and Nickius falls away. A breaking ball back into the screen. Looked like a slider that time, and it's a ball and a strike.
I looked back through my notes, Duke, about Chien-Ming Wang and what he had been working with Bob Stanley on over the course of last season. Remember when they tweaked his delivery?
They try to take that away, right?
Yes.
1-1 is downstairs, 2 balls and a strike.
And there was an idea that the Blue Jays kind of pitched to Chien-Ming Wang. He tried it, and within the same game, went right back to his old way. Comfort has everything to do with it.
Absolutely. 2-1 is lined out toward left center field. Coming on is the center fielder, Jason Bourgeois, who had been shading him the opposite way, but he's got great speed. He's able to get in there and make the play.
And the similarities, I think, in terms of tweaking and adjusting and also changing deliveries, a lot of what Ricky went through, his body of work, though, has just been longer because they tried to do it during spring training, and Ricky has never felt comfortable with it.
Kawasaki takes a breaking ball down and in, ball 1. Well, it's got to be frustrating for these guys. It's, Jimmy Wang, I mean, he had such tremendous success early in his career till the injury, and it really wasn't an arm injury. It was running the bases where he got hurt. Kawasaki checks a swing. Field is made. He did not go. 2 balls, no strikes. Corky Miller thought that would have been a pretty good pitch anyway. And, he just hasn't been able to quite regain that golden touch that he had at one point in time in his career. Big guy out there in the mound, the 2-0 pitch. Swung on and missed. Kawasaki slapping and running at the same time. You're seated above that third base dugout, heads up. Slaps a lot of balls that way. Here's the wind and the 2-1. Chop back toward the mound. Chin-Ming Wang fields. Fires to first base in plenty of time. Kawasaki retired. 1-3.
Duke, that third base side reminds me of my conversation in Countdown to Bison's Baseball with Charlie Green, president of the Bison's Booster Club. They will have their first in-season meeting after the ball game today at Pettibone's Grill, and the featured speaker will be Marcus Stroman. Marcus is the probable for Tuesday against Louisville in the series finale. Delightful young man that we've gotten to know just briefly here in Buffalo, but electric stuff. We can clearly see why he's one of the prized prospects in the organization.
Jared Mastriani swings the first pitch and chops a foul at the plate. 0-1. Strikeout victim back in the first. Still hitting .364 on the year, 12 for 33. The 0-1 pitch. Boy, dots the outside corner at the knees. Excellent fastball, sinker.
Mastriani had a great start in Rochester. He hit 400 right out of the gate.
The 0-2. Swung on, line towards center field. Bourgeois comes on. He's going to get there. Ball is well hit, but right at the center fielder Bourgeois, and that'll do it for the Bisons here in the third. They go in order. After 3 complete, we're still scoreless on the Bison Baseball Network. Chin-Ming Wang, the veteran right-hander, is into the windup. There's the pause at the top, and here's his pitch. Swung on, skied out toward right center field. Coming over is Perez from right. He will make the catch in front of Jason Bourgeois. Either one of them could have made that play. It was a fly ball lofted out there to shallow right center field, and Tolleson on one pitch is retired here in the fourth. That'll bring up Kevin Pillar, working on a 9-game hitting streak. Pillar struck out on a 3-2 pitch back in the first inning. Went off speed. Pillar now at .215 on the season. He's been peppering those alleys also. He's got some good line drive power into the gaps. And Chin-Ming Wang misses down on the way, ball 1. Center fielder Bourgeois shading toward right center. Big gap in left center field. The third baseman Nelson up even with the bag. And this is lined out toward right center field, but again, right at Jason Bourgeois. It just takes a couple steps to his left to put it away. 2 down here in the fourth.
10 in a row retired by Chin-Ming Wang.
You know, but it's kind of an odd game for him, really, because he's a ground ball pitcher, and he struck out the side in the first, which he normally does not do. He's not a big high strikeout guy. And then he's got a lot of fly ball and line drive outs. Only 2 ground balls all afternoon off the bat of the Bisons as Dan Johnson steps in. He was a strikeout victim back in the first. Just 42 pitches here in the fourth inning. Johnson takes a changeup outside, ball 1. 13 balls and 30 strikes now thrown by Chin-Ming Wang in the groove. Goes off speed, catches the outside corner there. It's 1-1. It had been just 1-3 coming in with a 6.16 ERA. And in 19 innings, he had given up 25 hits and 13 walks. But not this afternoon. He's been sharp as Johnson takes a little bit high. 2 balls and a strike. That hesitation over his head. Here's his 2-1. At the letters, strike 2 call. I think Dan Johnson was looking for someone else. It was a pitch that he would normally have a pretty good hack at right there, but I think he must have been guessing. 2-2 pitch. Swung on and lofted out towards center field once again. Bourgeois, a busy afternoon, drifts over toward left center, reaches up and makes the catch. So that'll do it for the Bisons here in the bottom half of the fourth inning. They go in order.
Sox, Ryan Schimpf, and the toss. Missed outside, ball one. Schimpf laced a ball in his first AB, but is right at the right fielder, Felix Perez. Great numbers coming out of Double-A. Toss to Schimpf. Tails on the inside corner, called strike. 17 ball games with the Fisher Cats, hit .322. 12 extra base hits, 4 home runs. Season ago, played at 126 ball games for New Hampshire. The 1-1. Off speed, bounced away foul. Schimpf had a tough start to his AAA promotion. On Friday night, playing with the Fisher Cats, he and Gregory Infante were waiting on word about the promotion, but the ball game went 12 innings. The 1-2. Bounced away foul at the plate. So after receiving word around midnight in the clubhouse, it was a 4 a.m. wake-up call and trip to the New Hampshire airport in Manchester to start his travels back to Buffalo. Because of the length, Schimpf left out of the lineup yesterday for the 4 o'clock start. Here comes the 1-2. Crack towards the middle, leaping into the air. Wang snags it and throws to first.
Well, that's one thing. Chin-Ming Wang is always an outstanding defensive fielding position after he delivers the pitch. And that ball was hit sharply on one hop, right back to him. He just kind of got up on his tippy toes, reached up to make the play, and throws him out at first base. Schimpf's been up twice. He's hit the ball pretty well twice, but nothing to show for it.
Hard line drive to right field, and then the one hopper, snared by Wang. A dozen consecutive retired by the veteran, now 34 years of age. Will face Matt Tuiasosopo. 1 out, nobody on in the 5th. The toss. Strike on the outside corner. Last half inning. Rich Baseball Operations President John Dandy's in the broadcast booth with us, and we mentioned Lenova Pizza and the partnership here at the ballpark. The 0-1. Changeup missed. Swung on, and it's 0-2. Since 1957, Lenova Pizza has grown to be the largest independent pizzeria in the United States. It's right here in Buffalo, and they are delivering pie after pie after pie, not only to doorsteps, but now the ballpark. Tuiasosopo lines it off to the right, stays 0-2. Cheese and pepperoni slices available for fans visiting Coca-Cola Field's Italian stand at section 104 in the main concourse. And I saw them all stacked up earlier this morning as well. They were getting ready to be placed in the suites. The 0-2. Broken bat roller foul, first base side. Into the bat, just splintered off from Tuiasosopo.
That must have been one of those cup bats that he got right off the end that time, because the bat is pretty much intact except for the last foot and a half of it that's just splintered down toward the third baseman, Chris Nelson.
So Tui grabs a new piece of lumber.
Well, that's pretty cool. So what is the other addition here, my friend?
Well, the other addition is a great partnership that more details will be shared, but Delta Sonic is part of the
sponsorship.
But yeah, new sponsorship, and the part of the package and all the details again for the fans will be released later on. But two staples in terms of brands in Western New York coming together with Coca-Cola Field and the Bison's fan experience. Pitches downstairs, so it's 1-2. Delayed gratification with Delta Sonic, but right now, if you're hungry, Lenova Pizza. 1-2 the count. Here comes the toss from Wang, swinging a foul back.
Good cut right there by Tui. That was one of those pitches that he probably had a pretty good pitch to handle right there, but to be about belt high. You know, if Tui's swinging the bat real well, he's been, slumping a little bit. That's a pitch that he's going to drive.
Here comes the 1-2. Breaking ball fouled back. On time, but fouled it right back.
Yeah, another pitch that was up, and a good pitch to handle, but he just again fouled it straight back. He's just a little bit off.
Bisons have some action in the bullpen as Ryan Tepera continues to loosen. Ricky Romero, 91 pitches through his 5 innings of work today.
Pretty good Houdini act, huh? The first couple frames.
Unbelievable.
And he settled into a pretty good groove after that.
He's given up only 2 hits. Chopper on the left side. The third baseman cuts it off in the hole. Nelson on the move, throws from the grass, and retires Tuiasa Sopo. So 2 pushed aside here in the 5th. Still no score for the Bisons and the Bats.
2 hits given up by Ricky Romero. One a little blooper out into right center, and one a brown ball through the middle into center field. Chien-Ming Wang been matching them. A lot of zeros up on the scoreboard.
Baker's dozen now retired consecutively after the Tolleson single. Bisons are just 1 over the minimum against the right-hander. Ricardo Nanita takes outside, ball 1. Here comes the 1-0. Across the knees, a called strike on Ricardo. Anita played in 38 ball games a season ago with the Herd. Hit .261, swings and fouls the 1-1 back. Finished the season with the Bisons. Collected 11 doubles, a couple of RBI. 2 long balls overall. Left-handed hitter rocking back and forth. Hands away from the shoulder. The 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. That ball skip in. No, it's held by Corky Miller. He shows it to the umpire. Ian Fazio clinches the fist as Chien-Ming Wang records his 3rd strikeout. Makes it another 1-2-3 at bat against the Buffalo Bisons. Retiring 14 in a row. We're through 5 and still...
Brian DeBrouwer, and they ruled Bourgeois out. I believe it'll be 2 unassisted on the put out there. As Chien-Ming Wang delivers to Mike Nikias, and that pitch is inside, ball 1. Nick has been up once in line to center field.
That's the way it reads. 2 unassisted.
Here we go. He's the closest player to that play, and the 1-0 is swung on a miss. Good pitch there, took something off. Chien-Ming Wang, very impressive thus far. 66 pitches, 48 strikes. Wow. Here's the 1-1. Swung on line, drive, right field, base hit. Perez will get over toward the line to cut it off, and Nikias has a solid single, and the Bisons have the leadoff man aboard here in the 6th. Just the 2nd hit for Buffalo on the afternoon. That was a nice job by Nikias. Kept his hands inside that baseball and just served it out there to right field on the line. Nice piece of hitting right there. And let's see if Kawasaki gets him over to second base here.
Snaps a string of 14 in a row retired.
I know he was retired on it. Ground ball back to the box. There goes Nikias. The hit and run is on. The ball is bounced back to Chien-Ming Wang. He had an idea about going to second base with it, but thought better if it took the sure out at first. So Nikias will advance to second on the play. They did not use the bunt situation there, but they went with the hit and run. Very interesting. You know what? That's a good call, I think, really, because Chien-Ming Wang he's been around home plate all afternoon. And Kawasaki, a good contact guy. So it worked, even though he hit a little chopper back to the mound with Nikias on the run. He's able to get himself into scoring position. Back to the top order now, and Mastriani, who takes a strike on the inside corner. Darren 0 for 2, struck out in line to center. Now at .353 on the year, no home runs, a couple of RBIs. He's dotted that inside corner. I mean, he has been tough all afternoon. Here's the 0-1. Corner at the knees, nothing and 2. He's been sharp. 52 strikes out of 70 pitches. The 0-2. Downstairs. All smothered by Corky Miller. No advance by Nikias. It's a ball, 2 strikes now on Darren Mastriani. I told you earlier that Mastriani began the season with Rochester, got off to a great start, and the 0-2 runs in and just grazes his leg. Mastriani almost swung at that pitch, and the ball just bore in on him, and he is aboard. Got off to a great start with Rochester. He was promoted to Minnesota on 0 for 11 in the big leagues and was designated for assignment. And when he was claimed by the Blue Jays. So 2 on with 1 down now for Steve Tollefson, who singled to left and swiped the bag but was left stranded and flied to right, and he takes strike 1 off speed pitch on the inside corner downstairs. Bisons with a man in scoring position for just the second time this afternoon. Scoreless ball game. Here in the bottom half of the 6th. Here's the set and the pitch. Swung on, bounced toward short. That could be 2. They grown to Gotay for 1 on first base in plenty of time. Gotay turned that one nicely. A 6-4-3 twin killing. So that'll do it for the Bisons. Here in the 6th. No runs, a hit, no errors, a man left. After 6 complete, scoreless baseball right here on the Bison Baseball Network. Hitting streak on the line. He is struck out and lined to center as Chien-Ming Wang winds and delivers a breaking ball outside. Ball 1. Right back into the windup. The 1-0. Swung on and drilled foul. Changeup was in and he just hammered it, but he had no place to hit that ball hard. He had to pull it. It was in on his hands and it was soft. Couldn't keep that one true. Here's the wind and the 1-1. Kind of swing that was. It was really late with it. It looked like he tried to shoot that ball through the right side, but it's a ball and 2 strikes now, and Pilar did not get a good swing at that. Appeared to be fooled by that pitch. The 1-2 offering. Sinker is down low. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Outfield straight away, infield back now with 2 strikes on Pilar. Third baseman Nelson had been a little bit tighter. Here's a 2-2 pitch. Changeup, strike 3. Swung on it, was foul tipped into the glove of Corky Miller. Chien-Ming Wang picks up his 5th strikeout on the afternoon. Struck out the side back in the 1st. Here comes Dan Johnson. Went in the glove in the 1st and then hit a fly ball to center field in the 4th. Three times the bats have had the bases loaded. Once they hit into a double play and twice they stranded 3 men as that ball catches the knees. Strike 1 call. They have gone in order just 1 frame. That was back in the 3rd. 11 men left on base. Another changeup, and this one's hit out toward right field, but on the line. But right there is Felix Perez. He makes the play, and there's 2 down here in the 7th. And that's from a team that was hitting .311 with runners in scoring position going into yesterday's ballgame.
It is usually a recipe for disaster when you issue that many walks, regardless of what a team hits.
No question.
Just able to manufacture runs.
No question. Here comes Ryan Schimpf, one of The two new Bisons, he has lined to right and bounced sharply to the box. And he takes downstairs, ball 1. Schimpf, not, as we call it, a real big guy. He's 5'9", 181 listed at, 26 years old now. Born in Covington, Louisiana. 5th round choice back in 2009. 1-0 pitch. Outside, ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes.
Same season, he was playing with Bison catcher Sean Ochinko when the Tigers won the national championship.
Should hit just .210 last year, but he had 23 home runs, 65 RBIs, and we said he's not all that big, and he has to generate some bat speed to have that kind of power, and that one's on the inside corner of the knees, 2 balls and a strike. Off to a good start this year in Double-A. 4 home runs on the early part of the season. There's a changeup, and it's skied out towards shallow right center field. Backing up is Gotay, the second baseman. Backpedaling, he reaches up to make the catch. So that'll do it for Ryan Schimpf, and that will do it for the Bisons here in the 7th. They go in order.
Buffalo Baseball Hall of Famer Duke McGuire. I'm Ben Wagner. Matt Tuiasosopo leads it off for the Herd in this 8th inning. Jingman Wang has been nearly unhittable. He's only allowed 2 hits to the Bisons. Strike 1 to Tuiasosopo. You know, the ballgame that I talked about earlier with the 10 different walks that the Bisons issued between Chris Schwinden, Daniel Ray Herrera, Chuck James, the 0-1 waved at and missed. That 2012 lineup featured Matt Tuiasosopo. Played right field for Wally Backman and the Bisons that day. 0-2 on Tuiasosopo. Wang deals. On the outside corner, strike 3 called. Got him looking at the fastball. 6th strikeout for Chien-Ming Wang. We mentioned this earlier, and the 6 strikeouts, half of them belong in the first inning. He's not a guy that will blow you away anymore. Never really was that pitcher. Okay with contact. Produce a ton of ground balls, but a lot have been in the air today, and hard line drives as well from Buffalo at bats. There's Ricardo Nanita. First pitch, line to the gap in right center field. That's down. It's a base hit and maybe more. Nanita speeds around first, digs towards second. He can stroll in standing with an extra base hit. Buffalo has something cooking late. First double of the season for Ricardo Nanita. The Bisons have a runner in scoring position.
Well, that line drive finally found a gap out there in right center field. It was cut off before it could get to the warning track, but it was deep in the alley, so Nanita easily turned that one into a double. And now the Bisons have the go-ahead run in scoring position. For one of the few times they get a guy in scoring position this afternoon, up to, looks like we're going to have a pinch hitter here for Mike Nikias.
Nikias summoned back. Manager Gary Allenson has options on his bench, and Chris Getz scheduled to get the day off. Lifted off the lumber, and now he's ready to go. Left-handed batter will lock up with Chien-Ming Wang, who will stand in the stretch. We're scoreless in the 8th inning. This is something that Gary Allenson has not done frequently this season, and that is ask somebody to come off the bench in a pinch hit role. Happened for the first time when Buffalo was in Pawtucket.
Big right-hander Curtis Parch starts to throw in the bullpen.
First pitch bounced up the first base line, foul. Rolling down towards the Bison bullpen. Strike 1 on Getz. In fact, this is just the second time that the Bisons have asked a pinch hitter to appear, and the first was by default. Juan Francisco got the call from Toronto, and he was lifted midway through the ballgame after getting 2 at-bats. This is really the first official pinch hit role that Allenson has used. Runner leads away at second. Changeup for Wang, dances up and away, and evens the count at a ball and a strike.
Juan Francisco homering for his second straight day for the Blue Jays yesterday.
When he has gotten the start, he's got base hits, 6 out of 7 outings with Toronto. His first was a mammoth blast. A 1-1 count on Getz. Swinging a looper down the left field line. That's a fair ball. Buffalo will take the game's first run. Nanita can roll to the plate. It's a 1-0 Buffalo lead on a pinch hit ribby from Chris Getz.
Getz going the opposite field, lines one down the left field side. By the time Wilson's able to get over there, he cut it off before it could get to the corner. But there's no way they could stop the speedy Chris Getz from coasting into second base with that RBI pinch hit double down the left field side. That's a good piece of hitting right there because Chien-Ming Wang sinks that fastball down and away, and Getz did not try to pull it. He went right with it. The Bisons tally up here late.
Second double of the season for Getz. It's his 9th ribby. Bison's in front late, 1-0. Here's Munenori Kawasaki. Chops one on the left side. Getz advancing from second. He'll go to third. It's thrown out by Negron. Kawasaki becomes the second out.
Good read that time by Getz as that ball was hit directly at him, and by the time it crossed where he would have been, he had taken off. So the rule of thumb is if that ground ball is hit behind you, you take off for the next base at between second and third. And the ball was behind him, and that being the second out, you know that Negron is going to take the sure out at first base because Getz going into third. He's not going to be able to score on a sacrifice fly anyway. So they take the sure out, and let's see if the Bisons can come up with a big insurance run here.
Righty on righty matchup with 2 down and a runner at third. Here's Darren Mastriani. Swings at the first pitch and bounces it away foul. Mastriani got plucked by a pitch and then taken off the pads on the 6-4 3-double play in the 6th inning. He struck out in line to center. Buffalo leads in the 8th, 1-0.
94 pitches by Chien-Ming Wang. 69 strikes.
The pitch from the right-hander. Bounce towards third, behind the bag, backhanded by Nelson. Long throw towards first on a bounce. They got him just in time. A bang-bang play with the speed of Mastriani streaking over the first base bag. Nelson's throw just had enough on it. He kept the throw low. It was a clean pick by Neal, the first baseman, to retire the side. But Buffalo gets on the board in a big way. The double from Nanita set up a pinch hit RBI double from Chris Getz. And Buffalo has the game's first run. 1-0, the Herd in front. Moving to the 9th on the Bison's Baseball Network.